everyone. Happy Friday. It is February 21st, and I'm sorry I'm a little late doing this world session. I had some things to take care of with my family. And as you can see, there's no video for today's session. I just got a new computer and I'm not exactly tech savvy. So uh, sorry for the no video. So you can get yourself nice and cozy. And hopefully by next week, I'll have this all sorted and it'll be business as usual. All right, for today's session, I really want to focus in on um, feelings. No, that's not quite it. I want to focus in. Where am I going? So I'm a little all over the place. So that tells me I'm ungrounded and that my mind is getting in the way. So we're going to move out of the mind, right down into the body. So I'm going to tap my cortices, and you can go ahead and just sit back and receive this, tapping my cortices. This is really great, a great way to reduce anxiety. It's also fantastic to calm the nerves, to relax the body and the mind. And if you do this as a standalone technique, I know that you can't see me tapping my cortices, but if you're curious and you just found this session for the first time and you're like, what in the world is this woman doing? What is this tapping the cortices? Please reach out, or you can go onto my YouTube page and you can see a video of me explaining what tapping the cortices is fully, and then I run through them. I do it so you can see for yourself. All right. So my breath is a little still congested and kind of feel tight around the throat. So there's lots of contraction in the body. Going to go into the diaphragm. We're going to run a hydration to the diaphragm. The diaphragm knows what to do with emotions, and there's just this backlog of emotional content. There we go. I'm trying to take a breath, and it's really just staying in my upper lungs. We want that diaphragm to be nice and flexible, it to be a soft diaphragm so that it can massage, so that it can massage the organs, and then that breath, that beautiful breath, can go down to the rest of the body. Now, there's a few things. If you want to look at, a few of the ancients say perfect breath, perfect health. Another another line of thinking is, look at your gut. If your gut is healthy, then you've got a healthy body. In chiropractics, they say look to the spine, right? If your spine is unhealthy, then it impacts also the health of your breath, which impacts your health. But for today's work, we're going to be focusing in on the breath. As each breath you take scans the physical body, and then it also scans the emotional, mental body. And so for every breath that you take, there's this constant reevaluation of your body. It's scanning for any aches and pains, and then also it scans for any kind of emotional content. And the diaphragm is really tight, it's really congested. So we've got to help that diaphragm be able to take in life, take in breath. But when you're on the surface, so let's say, there's a lot going on in life, or perhaps you're being thrown this way and that way by your thoughts, it's going to be really difficult for you to sink a little bit lower into your body and out of the mind. Oh, there's a release right there. I really just was introduced to this imagery by my practitioner, and it helps me so much. So I'm going to share this with you, and maybe this will help you. When you're on the upper layer of the ocean where it's shallow, the waves can take you away, right? So think of that as the frenzied mind. It can bash you about, it can even actually hurt you when you're running around frantically. You can really hurt yourself. Maybe you can trip and fall. You can hit your head. Some terrible things can happen when you're not anchored in your body. But if you go deep down into the ocean, below the surface, right down, the tides seem to move and those waves don't seem to get you. And this is where you want to live your life from, right? That depth. And so life's not throwing you about. And so we've got some contraction around the diaphragm, got some emotional content, some overthinking, some dramatizing in here, some over emotionality, and some active memories. So things that happened in your life, especially we're going to go through the ages really young. So 3 to about 5, where there was some, something that makes you hold your breath, right? It's like, that took my breath away. So we're going to release some active memory to having to hold your breath. So whether that be being scolded or you got a good fright, something scared you, even having to walk on eggshells, perhaps around certain people in your family, but that, oh, it took something that took your breath away from the ages of 3 to about 5 years old. So we're going to dump that active memory out of that diaphragm. We're going to bring in a beautiful hydration to the diaphragm, the whole diaphragm. So inner and outer, that whole muscular layer of that diaphragm, going to hydrate it. It needs to be supple, it needs to be soft. And there's contraction and holding. And I can even feel that large intestine starting to seize up. So if you're having any kind of constipation or trouble with your digestive system, even if this means diarrhea, then constipation is control, trying to hold it together, and diarrhea is the bottom falling out. So avoidance. I don't want to deal with this. Either way, that's not being with what is. And so as we're releasing this contraction around the diaphragm, I actually feel that colon contracting up further. It's like, oh no, I couldn't handle any much more life. So we need to help that colon to release. We're going to link colon and lungs together. Now, both are responsible for letting go. So the colon lets go, and then the lungs also let go. It's a surrender. So the ability to breathe in life. But we need that clean air. We need that air, that oxygenation through the blood. We need to move the stagnation out of the body, out of the cells, out of the musculature. We need that oxygenated blood. So there's fresh blood being pumped through our bones and our systems, our organs. So we're going to bring in a circulation here. There, I can finally breathe to that diaphragm. And we're bringing it in of oxygenation. We got to bring in that oxygen. Oh, there we go. Now I can feel my whole belly relaxing and that colon starting to relax. Now, there we go. There's a release there. We don't want, just slowly, slowly, gently, gently. Seems to be a forcing here or a pushiness, like just hurrying. So we got to slow down this, not slow down the system, but slow the mind down. It's like things don't need to be done in a hurry. Well, your body knows. You'll know when to rest, know when to sit down, when to breathe, when to grab that glass of water. You need to take this frenzied energy. It feels really staticky, this frenzied energy out of the system. So I'm going to bring in that imagery of the ocean again. This really helps me when I start to feel overwhelmed or I catch myself in my mind and it's getting a little hairy up there. And I feel frenzied. It's really that energy of frenzy. Then I stop and for myself, I place one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly, and I imagine myself gently floating to the bottom of the ocean. where it's nice and quiet and I don't move until it's nice and still and I could feel my breath regulating. So we're going to also do a regulation of the breath or like a reset to that breath. Get it out of that frenzied state or that hyper state that keeps you in the mind, keeps in the thoughts. We want to come down into the body, into our emotional body, to feel our emotions and to feel our feelings. And we're in the brain, not the brain so much, but in the mind, then everything becomes overwhelming and seems to be impossible from that space. All right, there's a nice breath, and I'm relaxing. My belly is nice and soft now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tap this in for you. Hope this helps over your weekend. Enjoy your time, get some rest, and I will see you all. I will see you all next week.